What do voiceovers, celebrity interviews, and viral TikToks have in common? For Racquel Goldy, they're just a Tuesday. From red carpets to reels, today we're talking all things brand, boldness, and building a media career in public.
Welcome to You Heard It Here, the go-to podcast for social media, powered by Goat Social Media. Whether you're building a brand, growing a business, or just here for the juicy marketing tea, you're in the right place. Let's get into it.
Today I'm super excited because today's guest isn't just a total media maven, she also happens to be my best friend of 15 plus years. Racquel Goldy is a radio personality, artist liaison, and social media manager who specializes in K-pop, EDM, and all things pop culture. She's a dynamic host, interviewer, and content creator known for making every conversation feel effortless and fun. From the in-arena host of the Florida Panthers to covering the Billboard Music Awards, Raquel has built a career across every platform while staying unapologetically herself. Let's give a warm welcome to You Heard It Here to the one and only Raquel.
Hi, best friend.
Yeah, so fun to have you.
This is crazy that this is the first time we're doing something like this in 15 years.
Right.
Wild.
Because we watched each other's interviews, but
Yeah.
never really ever interviewed each other.
I like this. This is fun.
Yeah, it's just like two friends gossiping, chatting.
Literally.
So let's rewind for a second. What originally drew you to media, and did you always know that this is what you wanted to do?
Yes. So I grew up watching TRL. I would run home from school every single day and watch
Carson
the VJs,
Daly, yes.
Carson Daly, Vanessa Manillo, all interview Britney Spears, NSYNC, Jonas Brothers. And I don't know, I was always infatuated with the VJ being the connection between the fan and the artist. And I myself was such a big music fan growing up dancing. So I just knew, I always knew I was going to be getting into hosting. However, I did think it was going to be maybe later in my life, but then I went to school for journalism and it kind of just effortlessly happened. And I've been doing it for almost 15 years now, almost as long as I've literally known you, which is crazy. So yeah, I mean, it's just always been my thing. I've always just been yapping for a living.
Well, and while you said effortlessly, I think people don't realize that the grind is real and the hustle is
So real. Yeah.
And if you can take us through the journey of, while you were in college, what you did to prepare yourself for this, the internships you took and the opportunities that you said yes to.
Yeah, so I went to school for journalism, and we're very lucky living down here. I went to Florida Atlantic University, and I knew when I was picking colleges that I wanted to go somewhere where I would be able to kind of get an internship eventually, because internships are so important. Everyone who always reaches out to me who's in college is like, how did you get started? Internships, that's what I did. So when I was in college, my first internship was at iHeartRadio Miami, which was, to this day, I always am like, that was what did it for me. I fell in love with radio even more than I already had been in love with it. Like, I was studying radio in school, but I got to prep the interviews and do the vlogs and just like really be hands-on. And they had said to me my first day, or when I was even in the interview process, they were like, listen, we are going to let you be as hands-on as you want. So if you want to just sit on the couch and write our blogs every day and do nothing else, you can. Or if you want to do voiceovers and really be hands-on with artist interviews and do all that stuff, I was like, absolutely, that's what I want to do. So I would go in early, stay late, do extra things, because I was like, this is what I want to get to know and learn, and that's what I did. And then this is when, I'm aging myself, but this is when YouTube was really popping off, like back in the day, like very much so, really becoming more than just something you watch people do random videos on.
Yes.
A lot of YouTubers were starting to do artist interviews, and I was watching these interviews, and I was like, these are so horrible. Like being a little brat in my college dorm, and I was like, these are so bad. I should be doing this. And one of my best friends, Courtney, she was going to school at UCF, and so we would go up every other weekend to see each other, whatever. And we were in the dorm, and she's like, why don't you start a YouTube channel and just start interviewing artists? I was like, can I do that?
I remember
should
when
do
you
that.
did.
Right.
Yes.
I was talking to you, and I was like, I think I'm going to do this. You were like, why not? So she was interning at doing or maybe getting her major, I think, in PR. So she was like, I can help you craft the email to send to these publicists.
Yes.
And let's do it. And so we just sat in my dorm room, and we were pitching these artists, which now it's so crazy because they look at everything now and numbers and everything, but the internet was like just really starting to pop off in that perspective. And I remember I had, the pitch was like, I intern at iHeart and have done all this and da-da-da-da-da. And we were just sending out all these crazy, crazy emails to people because at the time the emails were on their Facebook pages.
Yes.
So I remember I sent out all these interview pitches. I didn't hear anything. And I was like, okay, well, we tried. I get an email from Chris Allen, who had just won American Idol's PR. And they were like, oh my God, so sorry we missed you in Palm Beach. Can you come to Orlando and interview him? I did not have a YouTube channel. I did not have a camera. I did not have a name. Yeah. And I was like, yes, I can.
Yes, you don't ask, you don't get. No. Sometimes you have to just take the opportunity, even if you're not ready.
100%. I remember we had midterms in school that day. And I was like, I have to leave early. I have to go drive to Orlando at like 10 o'clock at night. And my professors were so cool. And they were like, well, considering this is what you want to do with your life and you're already doing it, like, be my guest. Go. So by the time I graduated from college, I had already done all of this all these artist interviews and had all this internships, and I ended up interning for the CW in South Florida as well. And then, I was just doing anything, even until like a couple years after college graduation for free. I was working for free because I was like, I just need to get all this experience on red carpets. And mind you, at FAU, the journalism department, you don't really study on camera. So everything on camera, I taught myself.
Yeah.
Completely. So I went from doing all that to then becoming the host of the Florida Panthers in Arena and Digital. So, I mean, it's really crazy that I learned a lot in college, absolutely, but everything was from getting hands-on experience, internship, the grind, working for free, and then I, became the Arena host in front of 30,000 people. So that was crazy. But yeah, no, the hustle and grind never stops. I'm completely a freelance worker, and I have been for like the past 5 years. I mean, really kind of my whole career. So I don't think people realize like how difficult that is, because basically if I don't pitch myself to work, I'm not getting paid. So
well, and something you brought up before that leads me to this is the numbers. Me being a social media agency owner, and then you also not just being a host and working it, but also being an influencer. A lot of these brands, companies, and artists that you're working with, they do look at numbers.
Now they do, yeah.
And they want to know that, it's almost like a vetting process. Is this person legit? Are they who they say they are? And do they have the following or the reach? So with that strong presence that you've built over the years, what's something that people don't see behind this curated content and don't see that goes into almost what looks so perfect?
The hustle. People have no idea. I mean, of course, you're only putting the good things on social media, right? I always tell people, I'm like, social media is fake, guys. Like, you have no idea what's really happening. It's literally a highlight reel. Exactly. And for me, my Instagram is quite literally my resume and kind of my brand. And it's been like that for the past 10 years, I would say, at this point. Yes. So it's the number one thing people don't see. People think I think some people think I have someone running it for me.
Right.
I have some people who think like I have everything planned out. I don't. I'm posting in real time, which is bad and stressful, but whatever. But
as that authenticity level, when it is real time, or it is, you're giving people behind the scenes, it gives them a reason to follow you and to be in tuned. So I think a space that you really grew into on social media is K-pop. And I think that's because fans are so digitally connected there. Why do you think K-pop and social media really go hand in hand?
I mean, I always go back and say, like, boy bands are great. Like, this is what keeps everyone interested in music. It started with the Beatles, and before that, I mean, the pipeline is always crazy. I always say it's like NSYNC to Jonas Brothers to One Direction to K-pop. That's just like the pipeline.
For our generation. Yeah, that's the pipeline. And then even before us, you had,
all of the boy bands.
Beach Boys,
Beatles, like everyone. I mean, all the Motown it's just, the boy bands make the world go round forever and ever. And when I have these record label reps coming to me and asking me about K-pop, I'm like, what are we not understanding? Like, there's no deviation here. It's all just the boy band pipeline. But I think because obviously these groups are in Korea, so obviously a lot of people don't have the pleasure of getting to go there all the time or see them in person. So we are really just like digitally connected to these groups and musicians on social media. So I think during the pandemic that really switched and kicked up a notch, and everyone realized how important it was to be on TikTok, to be on all these social medias and be doing these challenges. And now they make it a part of their single or EP releases to make sure they have a TikTok challenge for all their fans to do. And they incorporate all of this strategy, which is genius. And so when these people and these record label reps in America are like, I don't get it. I'm like, what are we missing here? Why are we not understanding
The fact
it?
that it's a deliberate, like you're saying, a deliberate way to go viral on TikTok by coming up with some dance or some moment or some recreatable activity. I think people don't realize that connection of social media and then being successful in the music world. They really do go hand in hand. And I feel like the fan base from K-pop is very vocal.
Yeah, of course. And they're so tuned in and with it. And I mean, everyone's so connected.
Yeah. Well, speaking of social media, music, helping each other out, there's a segment that you have done in the past. I don't know if you're still doing it with the EDM where DJs or an artist can submit their...
Still doing it. Yes. Dope or Nope.
Yeah. So let's talk about that because I think that it's a wild way to get your
crazy.
music out there. I think people think, becoming, being on the radio or becoming a musician or music artist has nothing to do with social media, and they're very wrong.
Yes, very wrong. So it started in the pandemic on Clubhouse, throwback.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was 5 years ago, which is insane. We were talking about this last week. So a bunch of us in music were like, okay, we're stuck in our houses and Clubhouse is a thing now and we're just bored.
For those who don't know what Clubhouse is, it was a social media app where it was like a talking app.
It was, I don't even know how you explain it. It was just...
It kind of flopped, but it had a moment.
Do you know they're hiring right now? So they're I don't know if they're trying to
maybe they're
revive
trying to
it
come
or
back.
what.
Wow.
But yeah, I was like, interesting. Yeah, no, it was just basically Instagram Live, but audio only.
Yeah.
It's Twitter Spaces, basically.
You don't have to worry about being on camera, being pretty.
Which is
You can
so
be in your
nice.
pajamas during COVID, as
I
you
was
said.
in my pajamas. And it started off with us just going through new EDM releases of the week and kind of talking about it and what we were thinking. And then we were like, oh, people are actually like really tuning into this.
Yeah.
Like artists, we were having artists come on, like very big artists, because everyone was so bored. And so we were thinking, we were like, okay, what can we do to kind of give newer artists a chance or a voice? And so we started having people submit demos, and we were live A&Ring the track, aka giving them feedback on what we think would make it better.
Yes.
And it's with myself, Nick from the Disco Fries, Lauren Padman, who's the VP of Dimmock, Steve Aoki's label, and George Hess, who is Armada's radio plugger, who has been doing this for years. And also JB, who used to run radio out in Seattle. So, I mean, very, high power playing people in the industry. And I mean, 5 years later, it's crazy because we've signed tracks to labels, like from the advice
from people
we've
literally
given
sharing their
them.
songs.
Yeah.
So explain the segment a bit. Are they sharing their song in advance and then you're
Yes.
reviewing it in advance?
No. So
Okay.
they're sharing their song. We open up the Google Doc. It's a Google Doc they can submit. And then on Thursdays, we're doing every other Thursday now because it's crazy festival season, so we're a little busy. But we do it on Twitch. So 3 p.m. on Thursdays, EST. Yes, I'm always like, what time zone am I in? Okay.
Yes.
And so we have them submit, and we just go through the Google Doc and the sheet of what we can get through in an hour, and we're giving them feedback on the tracks. And then
amazing.
Sometimes, obviously there's people from different labels, so we'll be like, send me that track. I mean, we've literally gotten like hundreds of tracks signed to different labels at this point, which is crazy because, I mean, no one's doing that at all.
No, and I think that it's almost an easy way to break into the music industry.
Yeah.
And I think people are not taking advantage of, in the sense of social media, everyone has the same limitations. Like you can only post what you can post on TikTok. You can only post what you can post on Twitch. Like you're kind of all in the same like level playing field.
Right.
It's a matter of what you do with it. And the fact that people are finding a way to get their music out this way, I mean, they're doing it from the comfort of their home. You're reviewing it from the comfort of your home. Everyone is there because they care about music and they want good music.
And they want to be discovered and
Yes.
given advice. I mean, in no other planet would you be getting feedback from people like that ever anywhere. So, and I've learned so much doing it too, because I've always been so interested in the production aspect of the tracks being made, but I am in no way a producer or DJ myself, but I've gotten better at like giving feedback and even training my ear and giving such crazy advice. And now I'm launching my own agency and plugging records and doing all that right now. So it's really crazy. I've learned so much from it. And now those guys are all like my industry mentors and dads. So I'm like, guys.
No, I love that.
It's crazy.
So speaking of using social media as a business tool, how do you decide with, your own clients and with other artists that you work with, what to share that feels real and strategic versus just sharing it because you have to share it? Like what's going to really break the mold?
I think that's number one, if someone comes to me and wants social help, if they're like, I just want to go viral, I'm like, I'm not taking you on as a client because you're just not, you're the same way. Like there's no way they're going to understand or fathom all of the strategy and work that goes into it.
And virality doesn't necessarily equal success. It
Correct.
could be a moment that's over so fast.
And you could never have another TikTok that gets over 200 views ever again in your life. I mean, it's just the way of the algorithm, which it is what it is. But sorry, I forgot the question.
No, we're going back. How do you decide what to share that still feels real and strategic for these artists and these brands?
No, I think it depends, like what we said, what they want to do and what they're kind of trying to achieve branding wise. I look at everything. Especially when it comes to artists, because I could have 4 DJs as clients at the same time and not one of them is going to be the same with what they want to do or achieve. So I think it just kind of depends. I always tell everyone to look at the pillars. That's like really important of what they want their content to be. So the main pillar of like the overall pillar and then the 3 pillars under it, which
give an example of what pillars are you.
So for one of my clients, Mason Boss, shout out to them, go check them out. I always was like, what are you guys trying to achieve here? Because they've been around a really long time. They're just now, I mean, it's been a year now, like really trying to get in on social media. But they're really great producers and explainers about what they do and how they make the track. So I was like, okay, well, that needs to be one pillar. I don't think it needs to be the main pillar, but I think it needs to be a sub pillar for sure, education, because you guys are funny and you guys are really funny and good and can like explain that together.
And they're showing their expertise through that.
And their personality. So that's definitely an example. And then another one I'm trying to remember was just they wanted to be like the party guys. They're playing out a lot. So I was like, okay, let's make that the main pillar if you guys are touring and doing this all the time. And then the sub pillars can be under that, education. They have like a little bit of comedy. They're super sarcastic. So just trying to tie it all together. And it's worked out. They've done really well on social. Had a couple viral moments. So
something you say pillars, and something we do with my clients is usually content buckets.
Same thing.
And it's important to have that picked out, because sometimes if you don't, for example, I have a client who has, product they're selling, and then we're doing another content bucket being testimonials, another content bucket being fun things.
Right.
If you're not mixing it up too, it could be so monotonous. If you're pulling everything out of the same bucket or the same pillar, it is boring. So it's nice to make sure, you're hitting all the boxes in a month or all the boxes in a week, and it keeps it.
And I think your pillars will change. I mean, I even myself for my own content have my own pillars, because it's like host, obviously, music industry, but then it's like festivals. I love doing what am I wearing or outfit of the days, and then like beauty. So there's definitely, ways to tie it all in without it just being generic, because also too, if it's just generic, you're not giving anything new to the world that's not already existing. Sorry to tell y'all.
So true. And talking about how artists can leverage their social, someone that comes to mind immediately is Hosier with his single Too Sweet. I'm sure a lot of people know it on the radio now, but if you were on TikTok, I mean, he was teasing that track for like months, for months, and people were begging for it to come out.
Oh yeah.
And Hosier is more of an indie artist. He's not, he didn't have the virality or the following as some of these other, major artists like Taylor Swift or Dua Lipa, or Benson Boone now is killing it. But it was interesting how he really made Too Sweet single skyrocket because of TikTok.
Yeah.
And it's possible.
I mean, same thing happening with Calvin Harris's new track that just came out. He was teasing it and teasing it and teasing it forever. And everyone was like, we're finally getting this era of Calvin again. Yes, I know I was waiting every single Friday. I was like, are we getting it yet? And then it finally came out. And it's just, I
feel #blessed that I got to see it live. So I went to Ibiza recently.
Yes.
And I was at Calvin Harris opening residency at Ushuaia, and the song was out, and I was ready, and everyone was ready. Like everyone knew the words already instantly.
Yeah.
And it's the power of social that basically the song was never going to flop, because there was so much built up to it as well. Not that just it's Calvin Harris, but also, there was so much anticipation that everyone wanted to listen to it. Everyone was ready.
Yeah.
And it's almost too, like, if you're an artist, while you think social media can be annoying, it also can be a way to gauge sentiment. If the audience loves this kind of music, or they're saying bring back more of that, why ignore it? Make another track like it. If what's working for you, keep going and
of course
create.
And especially in electronic music, I mean, these DJs are just like live producing the records on TikTok, and they're like, you guys like this sound?
Love that.
Okay, like I guess I'll put it out.
Charlie Puth does that too.
Oh yeah.
He'll just like live produce random.
He's a creative genius.
Random ass sounds. Like he'll use like household products.
Yep.
Or a light
crazy.
switch. Literally a light switch.
He's
for that song.
A creative genius. It's actually the inside of his brain must be crazy. Like I can't.
Yes, but it makes us want to listen to his music because he's being personable and authentic and showing that side of him. So you've worked in radio, live events, artist promotion, and social.
I do it
Through
all.
all of those, what are 3 non-negotiables that you would give to build a personal brand that actually stands out while it's a really crowded landscape?
I mean, just don't be afraid to get started. That's number one, I always say, because until you start posting or doing something, like what feedback are you going to get or people aren't going to be interested.
It's so true. People really do hold themselves back. And like done, is better than not doing it
Yeah,
at all.
I just had a friend the other day. She was like, I don't know if I like that reel. Should I have posted? I was like, who cares? Like,
Yes.
literally, who cares? You probably will not like that you posted that. And I guarantee you that's the one that pops off because that's
And what do you have
always
to lose?
What happened?
Okay, so
Literally.
you get 200 followers, nobody saw it. Okay, so nobody saw it. But if it
Yeah.
goes viral, everyone
But what
saw
if
it.
you get
Yes.
200,000 followers from
Right.
it, or if it gets 200,000 views? Like, you don't
You have
know.
nothing to lose.
Yeah, I mean, of course, do I think that you shouldn't just be posting random stuff all the time if it doesn't make sense? Because then how are you going to build your brand? But you do have to
course.
play
Get
around with
started.
it.
Yes.
And I think that's obviously that. Then
It's a great number
figuring
one.
out your pillars, number two. And number three is just keep doing it because it's going to take a long time. I think that's what people don't realize.
Yes.
I've been at this for almost 15 years now and playing around with different social medias, seeing trends change. People, my old agents were begging me to get on TikTok forever. This was like in 2019, I want to say. And I was like, I am not getting on TikTok because I do not have time to do this. This is when I was hosting at Revolution Afternoons.
Yes.
Like, did not have time to do one more thing. I have one more thing on my plate. And my agents were like, you basically are dumb because you're not getting on TikTok. And then here I am, it's COVID and everyone's popping off on TikTok. And they were like, see, you didn't listen to us. And I was like, I see. I should have listened to you.
Same
Whoops.
here, though. Me starting a podcast in 2025, I wouldn't be ahead of the curve. I should have started one in 2019. But it's one of those things of you can't hold yourself back of like should have, would have, could have.
Yeah.
You have to just jump in and go for it. And it's a numbers game. The more you post, the more you do, it's statistics. You're going to get out there. People are going to see your stuff. If you're only posting seldomly or when you can, it's just not going to break through the mold.
Yeah, and I think too what people don't realize is sometimes, and this is the case for me, your demo and your type of content you're posting can be different on different social medias, and that's how it is for me. Like on TikTok, for me, it's definitely more about like educating people who want to work in music and just the K-pop community, and now it is shifting more about working in EDM music again because of EDC. But on Instagram, I feel like it is very much so just more influencer, I work in music, I'm a host type of content, which is interesting. So that's definitely can be the case, which is
It's
difficult.
something that I discuss a lot with clients too. It's having that platform native content, the content that the platform wants you to have.
Right.
What goes well on TikTok probably won't go well everywhere else.
Repurposing is not always
No, but you can always repurpose, like you said, your brand or your pillars or those moments. If you know who you are, like I think if I look at all of your social media, channels, even your LinkedIn or even Facebook,
we love LinkedIn.
it's still you.
Right.
It's not so different.
LinkedIn's
It's just
important,
that-
people.
Yes. But it's still you. It's still Raquel.
Yeah.
It's just that it's content that fits well in that platform. You're
Right.
not trying to, it's almost like having those shapes, so those boxes when you were kids. You'd like stick the heart in the heart,
Yes.
the circle in the circle. But if you're sticking the circle in every single one, it's just not going to
No,
fit.
it's not going to work. Right. That was a great analogy. Good job.
Childhood games.
Yeah.
So if you were launching a brand right now from scratch in the music space,
Scared.
what would be your very first steps? What would you like start over?
Literally get on TikTok.
Yeah.
People are getting record deals from TikTok. People are getting record deals and being told, we really like you, but we need to see how stuff performs on TikTok.
Yes.
People are not getting signed because of them not being on TikTok. So literally get on TikTok. Please, I beg of you. If you are in the United States and trying to be an artist, get on TikTok. Obviously, in different parts of the world, it's different depending on what social media platform is popping off. But get on TikTok. Please, I beg of you, which is so tedious and it's hard, but that's how things
But also
go
could be easy. Like
viral.
someone like
You could do covers.
Alex Earl literally became famous doing, at least she said at minimum, she was doing 3 videos a day.
Right.
And most of them were just her doing her makeup, talking.
Yeah.
And people became like enthralled. Or you have 2 of my other favorite influencers I love to follow. One's Tinks and another is Eli Rallo. Tinks has 2 books out, New York Times bestsellers. They would never have been if she didn't have this presence on TikTok. And she has a radio show on Sirius XM. Like all of this stemmed from TikTok. Eli Rallo has a second book coming out. She was just at the Tonys. She has her own show coming out in New York. Like, she is killing it, but she also would not have this platform without TikTok. And while a lot of them do try to break into others like Instagram and other places, majority of their following still is TikTok.
Right.
And they still are in that grind to keep creating, but it's led to real careers.
Of course. Yeah, put yourself out there. You can't be complaining if you're not putting yourself out there.
So true.
You can't.
I saw a quote the other day, I think it was on Instagram, and it said, no one doing more than you will judge you. It's people doing less than you that judge you. You know, no one's going to take that away from you if they're also in the grind or waking up at 5 a.m. They're too busy to really like judge you.
We're all doing a million things. So you just have to, I always say you have to be your own hype man, because if you're not your own hype man, I've had so many different instances of like, I've had agents, I've had a manager, I haven't. But that's great, but I still have to be my biggest advocate, because if I'm not my biggest advocate, if I'm relying on other people, it's not going to work.
Right.
Yeah.
So we close every episode with 2 questions that we ask all our guests, and now it's your turn.
I'm scared.
Question number 1, what's your current favorite social media platform and why? Which I'm sure we can guess what you're going to say.
I love TikTok, but I still do love Instagram so much. I think just because that's also my biggest platform. So not for consuming video content necessarily, but my video content does really good on there. So I don't know. I like to be on there for sure. But TikTok is more of like a doom scroll. I'm learning how to cook some weird recipe that I'm probably never going to cook in my life.
It's amazing though.
Do a yo-yo, watching someone yo-yo to a K-pop song. Like my algorithm's wild.
Yeah, but I love that TikTok too is a search engine. Like, you're traveling somewhere, you need a restaurant in this area, you could type it, you're going to get it.
Yep.
You know, if you need to find a macro-friendly, protein-forward recipe that involves cottage cheese and
I'm
something
going to figure out how to dye my hair myself.
It's going to be there.
Yeah.
But what's interesting about Instagram that you said, which I always love Instagram for sure, with their video content, I wasn't consuming video content there like I was TikTok for a while. But lately, with that feature where you can see what your friends have liked and commented on Reels, which I don't know if anyone knows that, but we can all see what you're liking and commenting on for videos. So I guess don't like and comment weird stuff because we see it.
If you don't want it to be seen.
But a lot of times I love it because I'm like, oh, that's so amazing. Or like, I saw a friend, post, like a bunch of things about marathons, and I messaged her and I was like, are you about to run a marathon? She's like, how did you know?
FBI.
Yeah, but it's like fun to connect or fun to see what other people are engaging with, and it adds that layer of social media.
Yeah.
That can be fun and not creepy, and
I
it's
feel
just
like
engaging.
I'm more on Instagram for
post
the outfits. Like, I'm looking at people's
fashion is still huge on
fashion
Instagram.
is huge still on Instagram, and even, again, all the artist interviews and stuff like that, that's all being on. That's on my Instagram, not really my TikTok. So my TikTok is more of my ADHD brain, and then Instagram is more of the organized.
Yes. And
chaos.
So question number 2, what's one social media or marketing trend that you wish would just go away?
Oh, that's a good one.
What are we canceling here?
This is going to be controversial, but there's a couple of influencers who just like go up and sing to random artists. Oh. And it makes them really uncomfortable. There's a time and a place for it, but maybe on a red carpet at a major award show, not so much. Like, festival could be fun or something music oriented, but every time I see those videos, it's just, but also they look very uncomfortable. So.
Yes, I've seen one where they like not attacked physically, but like, in their face at a restaurant, an artist was eating, and it just was too much.
Like, I wouldn't want that to happen to me.
And you're damned if you do or damned if you don't if you're the artist, because if you're not smiling and reacting, then you look like an asshole.
Right.
But if you are, then you're inviting more people to want to come do that to you.
And just disrespect the artist, and I'm so big on they're people too. They're normal people. Like, let's not do that to them.
No. So where can everyone follow you on social media?
At Racquel Goldy on everything. I'm so lucky.
Yes.
Every single platform is just Racquel Goldy, so it's great.
Yes, the fact that I have, my name is unique, so that's fine. There's not a lot of milers in the world, but having my business at Goat Social Media, everything, locking that down early is lucky because some of these handles are hard to come by.
No, I've interviewed artists where they're like, this one's underscore and this one's, I'm like, guys, I don't know how you remember it. And then they confuse it and the publicist has to go back and be like, can we edit that out? Because they didn't say it right. I was like,
Yeah.
Thank God it's just Racquel Goldy on everything.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much, Raquel, for being with us today on You Heard It Here. And thanks for dropping wisdom, laughs, and your brutally honest trends and opinions.
Yes, always. Love you.
Love ya.
That's a wrap on You Heard It Here. If you love the insights or just came for the marketing tea, rate, review, and share. Follow at You Heard It Here podcast. That's heard like oats. Until next time, stay savvy, stay social, and keep leading the herd.